Welcome, guys. Not going to use the camera today, just so that we can have some more satisfying view of everything. Also kind of trying to relax a little bit more instead of have the camera on. Okay, good lord. Don't know why that was that difficult. And yeah, the money that you make when you're being an assistant is so that you can buy cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, but not being able to buy soap, that sucks.
To be honest, the soap isn't as good. Every time I use soap and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna help so much, I end up being like, oh, I'll just go back to my nozzle. Plus, it doesn't last that long. That's why instead of having the base colored power washer, mine is such a cheap. Cosmetic. Okay, can I jump up here by kind of cheating here a little bit? Yes.
I'm literally like floating in the air.
Good.
I'm not standing on the ladder.
Good. Yellow is mock green.
Green.
I'm getting that one mock, that's fine. Guess I'm not doing the right thing. There we go.
I feel like the Minecraft movie, no one would understand it unless you like played Minecraft for years.
Yeah, it's designed to be for kids. Besides, there's not really a whole lot that you have to understand about Minecraft to know that it's like the boxy textures, and other than that, it's just a survival crafting game. It's not like there's a whole lot to understand.
But the movie is like literally the game. So if you don't know who the characters are or what things are, then you won't.
You do know that 90% of people don't know what the main character's name is, right? Do you know what the main character's name is?
Steve.
Do you know how many people care that that's his name, considering most people don't play as that character that has that name? You don't really have to understand anything about the game, considering there's no actual story mode to it. It'd be one thing if it was like, hey, here's Skyrim the movie, and it's like, oh hey, we actually have the story of Skyrim. But even then, if you can't figure out what's going on just from watching the movie, then the movie's not doing a very good job of telling you the story, because that's the point of a movie, is to tell you a story. So if you can't understand the story from watching the movie, then, like I said, so like if you made like Skyrim the movie, if you can't understand the story from the movie, then they didn't do a very good job telling the story in the movie. It has nothing to do with the source material. Or like the Halo TV series, which I heard was terrible, but either way, if like you don't understand anything about the game series, that would be because the TV series didn't do a good job explaining it, not because you haven't played the game. I mean, that argument works with any movie. If you don't understand what's going on, it's because they did a very bad job at portraying the story, not because you don't understand the source material.
Why can't I get on that?
I don't know. Figure it out. Oh, of course, the one place that I need to put this, I can't. Well, you're using the ladder, and there's only one ladder, so... That's okay, I think we can figure it out.
Here, you can have the ladder.
I don't need it. I said I figured it out. I don't need your charity. Oh, that's considered part of this wall? Okay, that's fine. There. Did I get the top of this? Kind of. this whole section considered part of this wall? To get up here, don't I? Yup. I haven't even been using ladders. I've just been standing on things. Dang it.
Did you post your stream from last night on YouTube?
No, not yet.
You gotta get on it, man. People are desperate to find entertainment out there on YouTube.
Not my entertainment.
If you like stream stuff that people actually watch, they would.
I mean, there's a trucker that like literally just streams him driving, so he just
Yeah, I
holds
can't.
the camera out the window.
Yeah, I can't just sit there and watch it.
Well, people asking questions.
I see a hazard with that because he's constantly looking at his thing while he's driving, trying to look for questions and whatnot. So
Well,
he's probably
he has
even getting like that.
he has like he doesn't read all of them. Usually he's like people. I don't know if they're paying through super chats so that it reads them out loud, or if he just has a thing that'll read them out loud, but they usually get read out loud.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Otherwise, he's usually just like telling stories and stuff. Which I would do. Think about it. You play video games, you stream your video games, and then when you're driving, you stream your driving. I mean, if I'm going to be talking to myself anyway.
Supply and demand is out there.
Well,
Thanks to
there's also, like, people aren't necessarily watching, like, because the one guy that I watch, he'll do a bunch of, he's like an archaeologist, so he'll go over, like, different locations and kind of go over them and their history and things, but he's even said in some of his videos, like, hey, you know, if you want to have this play in the background while you're doing other things, like, if there's something I want to listen to that I don't necessarily need to watch, like, maybe I've already seen it 100 times, so I don't need to watch it, or because the way my mind works, I can, like, if I've watched something enough times, and then I go to listen to it, my mind will basically play it in my head. Or if it's just something that there's really not a whole lot to watch, like the one set of veterans that I watch that do like podcasts, like I don't need, like, it's fun to watch, but at the same time I don't need to, so I can just play it in the background. Most Fat Electrician videos, I've already watched them enough times that I'll play them in the background just so that I can listen to them while I'm doing other things.
background noise.
Not necessarily as background noise. Some things I use for background noise, but sometimes it's like I'll actually be actively listening to it. Like if I'm doing farm sim, I don't need to sit there and listen to the sounds of the engine the entire time. So I'll listen to that, and even though I've already heard it, 30 times, like, I can still listen to it, be entertained by the story, learn and retain the information.
There was a trucker way back when he randomly would like post, like take shots while he's driving, and then he'd like edit later and like put it in snippets and make it like a feature-length video. Could be like an hour and a half or whatnot of just him like going to random places. His name is Indiana Jack, and he's actually the dude that I watched before I became like his content. He doesn't do it anymore because he was an owner-operator for night transportation, so he was like doing his own thing. But he eventually went to another company called Traveloka, which is strictly owner-operator. So, which means that he like took his truck and worked for that company. Well, eventually he like became like the safety department for that company, and now he's not driving. Kind of made me sad because he was really talented.
I wonder if he sold his truck then.
Huh?
I wonder if he sold his truck then.
He did sell his truck, yes. The last thing that he did was he had a Volvo, 13-speed Volvo.
Oh man, I could have bought it.
Truck, and he called it Red. And he like sold it. He got that one. And then he like did a follow-up of that driver that bought it from him, and that dude crashed.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Hey, how's the truck going? Oh, I crashed it. That's
and that truck by Indiana Jack, he probably had like over 4 million miles in it. And yes, you can do 4 million miles in a truck.
Yeah, I know.
Just gotta keep
by that point, you've probably replaced the engine and transmission, though, or had them rebuilt.
Yeah.
You can go 1 million miles in a car too. Same thing. You have to have the engine and transmission rebuilt eventually. Just trucks are a lot more likely to get there because one, they're heavy duty, so they can go a lot further before they need that kind of maintenance. Number two, they're built to do that kind of mileage because they're being used for work, not just to get to work. And most trucks are probably maintained better than most cars since they're being used for transporting things, and anytime you're not able to drive, you're losing money.
Yeah.
but heavy-duty parts also last a lot longer than light-duty, so... I mean, there's like million-mile Hondas. It also depends, because on heavy-duty stuff, it's built to take a lot more strain. If you're not doing really strenuous stuff with it, it's going to last a lot longer. Modern cars have like really tight clearances, so, you know, they'll get out of spec pretty quick. Plus, the way I was watching, Jay Leno was talking about it because he loves cars. Modern cars, in order to get, like, there are, you know, Dodge minivans and things that have, like, 9-speed transmissions in them. Well, in order to get a transmission with that many gears into a vehicle like that, there's two ways that essentially you can do it. You can either, number one, make the gears really big, which makes them really strong. Or number two, in order to save space, you make the gears really small. But in order to make them really small, you have to make the metal really, really, really strong to do it. So the parts end up being a lot more expensive. So when you're talking about vehicles like that, it's like, yes, it has a lot of gears, which gets good fuel mileage, but at the same time, it means that the gears are, because they have to be built, and I can't remember specifically how he said it, but like in order to make them as strong as they are to do that, with that size, it makes them very brittle. So, you know, if you pound on it, like if you floor it all the time, you'll be a lot more likely to chip a gear than with like an older car where they might have really big, like a muscle car where it just has really big gears in it. And it gets its strength from just being big, so hammering on it isn't necessarily going to be as bad. And just the way that you forge the metal is going to be. I mean, you can still chip the gears, but they're also built for, like, higher horsepower all at once. Because a lot of muscle cars are built with, like, pickup truck parts, essentially, so they're built to have kind of, like, heavy-duty or, like, medium-duty parts as opposed to, like, a minivan. It's not really built to be able to do that a lot. It's a lot easier to break the gears on very small gears, which is how brittle they end up being, I guess. But most modern cars are also putting out a lot more horsepower than old cars do. Like, big old V8s back in the day, the only reason why they, like, V8 muscle cars were fast is because they had a lot of torque. They did not have a lot of horsepower. You look at, like, an old 70s or 80s muscle car, it's like, oh, it has, like, 200 or 300 horsepower. My Subaru has 230 horsepower. Out of a 2.5-liter four-cylinder. Whereas you look at, like, a Chevy 350 or, like, 400, you're putting out, like, 350 horsepower. With, like, maybe 370 pounds of torque. So, it's like, cool. And even if you look at modern cars, like, the thing is, you could buy an LS engine and be able to put, like, 500 horsepower through it easily. Like, my dad was watching a show one day where they were going to be souping up, like, it was like a Trailblazer or something, like a 2000, I can't remember what year it is, I think it's like an 07.
Is it a Chip Booze show?
No. And they were like, oh, we're gonna, no, it was like an actual, like, mechanics doing things. Kind of like Roadkill, but one of the other shows that they used to have with different hosts. But they were like, oh, we're gonna we're gonna put this LS in here, and we're gonna try to make at least 500 horsepower. Hopefully we can. I'm like, bro, if it's an LS, you can make 500 horsepower without even trying. They're so easy to make, like, a reliable 500 horsepower. Because that's the other thing. You can make high horsepower, but that doesn't mean that your engine is gonna last more than, 5 minutes. Or you'll blow something up. Which can also happen. But you look at, like, American engines, and it's like, oh, this, like, even, like, a modern F-150. It's like, oh, you might make, like, 350 or 400 horsepower out of, like, 4-liter V8. Okay, cool. They're making, like, 500 horsepower out of a 3.6-liter V6 in, like, a Ferrari. So that's a Ferrari. Yeah, they have tighter clearances and some other different things, but either way, even if you look at, like, some Japanese and, like, German cars, it's like, cool, we're putting out the same amount of horsepower, non-turbo, out of an engine that's half the size that you are. Even with a turbo, it's like, well, yeah, but that's turbocharged. Yeah, but I mean, if I could have an engine that could make, like, 350 horsepower, or one that could make, like, 200, and the difference is I get a turbocharger, I mean, that means that I get the higher horsepower out of it, and that means a better power-to-weight ratio, which, depending on what kind of vehicle it is, might give it better fuel mileage. That's why a lot of vehicles nowadays have turbochargers, because you can take a 4-cylinder engine and make the same amount of horsepower as a V8, and still get the fuel mileage of a 4-cylinder. It's like, yeah, I like that philosophy. Does that make sense? I mean, yeah, there are people that make fun, but, I mean, unless you're talking about, like, a full-size pickup with a 4-cylinder, which, cool, even if the engine can tow a bunch of weight, does that mean that it's probably good for it? Probably not. Does that mean it's going to struggle up hills the same way that a bigger engine wouldn't? No. But I mean, even then, like, a twin-turbo V6 is still going to have a ton of horsepower compared to, like, that 4-cylinder. And if you're actually legitimately towing things, yeah, go out, get a V8. Who cares? If you're looking to race and actually have speed, cool, do the same thing. You know, if you want, like, a racing truck, cool. Throw, like, a turbocharged V8. And there's no replacement for displacement, so having a bigger engine regardless is going to make the whole vehicle be able to go faster, but still. If all you're doing is trying to get to and from work, not getting rear-ended when you pull out of places is cool, so having enough horsepower to actually get up and go is nice. How are you not done with the walls over there yet? I've already done I have done the entire rest of the walls.
Yeah, I did floors too.
You missed a spot. Here's this part of the I'm not working on the floor right now, because the floor is the entire floor. Well, actually, I am working on the floor.
I like to get everything done in one room before I move on to the next.
I think that floor is the same floor. Oh, okay, that's considered the gallery, so it's not. Well, the rest of this floor is considered one floor. A bunch of splotches now. The part of the upper floor is still left. I guess I clicked it here. Oh, back to what we were discussing. Sometimes people aren't, like, necessarily listening. Sometimes, yeah, they just need background noise, but sometimes they just want, like, you know, talking. Maybe they want to feel like there's somebody with them. Maybe they're just lonely. Maybe they want noise for their dog, so their dog feels like there's somebody home if there isn't.
Yeah, most dog owners, like, when they everybody leaves their house or whatever, they like turn on the TV for the dogs.
Yeah, Crow doesn't care about TV, so I just have the radio set for the
Alright, time to do this bathtub. You can literally stand in the middle of this bathtub and just go in circles.
Not a bathtub, it's a bowl. Cool, that's that. Oh, okay, I see what it's talking about. Have we figured out what the paint job is in that yet?
The watermelon.
Yep.
I know my fruits. I mean, look, Alabama's education might be shitty, but they know what watermelon is.
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut on that one.
What? What else?
Nothing, don't worry about it.
I gotta know your opinion.
You're in this house.
I can't make a decision.
Good. I'll just let you stew on watermelon and sauce. How about that?
I mean, I'll get down to some stuff.
No, it's not. Yeah, stew as in, like, have to think it over.
Yeah, soup, stew. You're literally meaning the
Yeah,
same thing.
stew as in think it over. Think about watermelon and the South for like 5 minutes. I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Hot summer day.
No, it has to do with people.
Black people?
There you go. See, you're the one that says it, but I don't give a fuck.
You're the one that is situated, not me.
Have you cleaned that thing yet?
Yeah.
Doubt it.
Also, fried chicken.
Sad.
Bojangles. I'll run the top. And They know how to season fried chicken. White people do not.
Because most white people can't handle spicy things.
Yeah, but at least put seasoning on it. I mean, damn.
Seasoning doesn't have anything to do with making things spicy. You can season something without it being spicy.
Seasoning doesn't have to.
That's literally what I just said. Are you saying that KFC can't make fried chicken? Popeyes?
KFC.
Those are both southern chicken franchises.
Yeah, KFC is fixing to be TFC because they moved their shit.
Yeah, it's probably the Texas probably has better rules for business.
No, it's because Texas doesn't have tax.
So you might not have sales tax or income tax. Yeah, but them moving their HQ doesn't change them having to charge sales tax in other states. Like, any KFC in New York still has to charge sales tax, and they don't pay sales tax. I mean, they do, but every store charges their customers sales tax. Technically speaking, if you really wanted to, instead of charging your customers sales tax, you could just take however much money the sales tax would be. Let's say it's a $100 item, and the sales tax is 8.75%. So instead of charging $100 for that item, you just charge $108.75 and don't charge sales tax. You're still charging the person the same amount. It just doesn't sound like you're paying them charging them sales tax. I mean, I guess if you really wanted to, you could take sales tax out of your profit margins, but obviously no company can do that. That's why people pay sales tax. Charge the consumer. I'm preferring the yellow nozzle. I'm not missing yellow as much with the yellow nozzle. Keep picking the green, thinking like, oh hey, I'll cover more area, and then I'm missing like half of it. So it's like, I might as well just stick with the yellow one. The amount
I'm
of
missing a whole bunch on the yellow.
Well, maybe you should go slower.
It depends what your, yeah, that's all you have to do with the green one.
Yeah, but the green one, like, no, because like right now, even the space I am covering going slow, it's still missing a bunch. And the way I do it, I like go over things so that like half the nozzle is covering the spot that I already cleaned, so it like makes sure it gets everything. Hey look, another watermelon.
Do you know what grits are?
No, I've heard it's like eating sand.
Not if you know how to prepare it correctly.
I don't know.
Whoever said grits taste like sand.
Everybody.
They made it wrong.
Everybody I have ever heard it from.
You gotta put butter in it.
That doesn't mean it doesn't taste like sand. Like, literally everybody that I've seen, it's like, I've never had grits. And they're like, oh, you gotta try this grits at, like, this southern place. And it's like, okay, cool. And then they try it, and it's like, I mean, it tastes kind of good, but it's still like eating sand. I don't know.
We had to do a project in history class one year, and it was like make food from a certain era, time period, and I did what the Puritans did, and I made grits.
That's not from the Puritans. That's from the South in modern day. I would have given you an F and made you redo it.
Well,
for picking something that's not.
I got it in.
Well, you're from the South, so yeah, they were probably like, well, shoot, you made grits, I guess I gotta give you an A. I had that for breakfast. These are like the quietest power washers ever.
You know, we don't even have a generator for these things.
Well, power washers don't need generators.
So where's the water coming from? We're just holding the
Well,
thing.
We obviously have a very long hose, and the actual thing is in the truck. Power washers don't have generators either.
Well, what is it?
The gas engine, the pump. They're not electric. Mine's electric, but most of the time they're gas. But mine's still louder than this. I mean, it's pretty quiet, but like, it's louder than the noise of water hitting things.
How the hell did you get up there?
To walk up there. Like this. That's how I was getting the upper part of most of that wall. I was just jumping on that. Here, watch. I was jumping up here, then sprinting and jumping to there. Oh, that time I didn't make it.
I'm king of the world! Back to
Shooting off the hill.
Are you going from side to side or not?
Depends on what I'm thinking. Is that washer of yours for kind of hedges? Not sure if I put on 0, probably. not even, like, getting the steps.
I'm starting from the bottom. See? You got it.
Okay, but what about the rest of this?
We're working on it. I only have 2 hands, 1 pressure washer, 1 brain, 1 heart, 2 eyes.
One brain, 2 brain cells.
Good. We met in the middle.
Well, now there's this one.
Hit me in the middle.
Copyright.
Are you?
Yeah.
I never got a notification.
That's what I spent like 20 minutes trying to figure out. I was trying to disable my camera, and then I was trying to get the game to show back up.
Why are you disabling your camera? People want to see your face. They want to know if you're like hot.
There's a lot of people that don't stream the face. I mean, face cams are like usually more likely because there's a little bit more to interact with. You can see the actual person, you can see their reactions. Especially on a horror game, like you can actually see their face. And then there's people that like, then there's people that record like games and they'll be like, no commentary, no camera. Like, I don't want to watch you in silence just playing a game, especially if you have all of the music and everything turned off, where like there's like the only audio is your footsteps.
Well, okay, would you rather watch a stream that is like silent, or would you watch a stream of someone talking but they're like very dry?
It depends. What's the video of? Is it supposed to be showing me something, or is it just them doing things? Like, if I'm watching a video of, like, let's say Skyrim, am I watching them try to show me where something is and how to do something? Or am I just watching them play Skyrim? Because if I'm just watching them play Skyrim, I want their commentary. And maybe I wouldn't mind if they weren't talking, if they were trying to, like, show off the actual, like, storyline and let all the cutscenes play out and whatever. Like, then that's one thing. But I don't want you to sit there and play a game and it's just completely dead-ass silent except for, like, game noises. It gets too boring.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
especially if it's, like, a tutorial on something. I definitely don't want that. I've seen tutorials where it's like, hey, here's how to do something. It's just them walking around to, like, show you where to go and what to do, and then they, like, point, like, their bow or their sword at something, and then they, like, do a couple circles, and then they're like this, and then they, like, wander around, and they don't say a word. Especially when it's, like, a 3-hour video of, like, hey, it's me beating this game, but, like, I don't say a single word. It's like, okay, then why am I watching you play it? Well, then it's like you're playing it, not really. Because I'm still going to see things that you don't do that I'm going to want to do. Like, that's why there's games that I'll watch people play and I'll still want to buy them. Because it's like, oh, hey, you didn't do something that I saw that I want to do. Or, like, whatever. I don't know. If I'm watching somebody, like, unless they have an annoying voice, I would rather have them at least, like, they don't have to talk the entire time, but the point is to see the person's reaction. Like, I don't want to watch a video of somebody, like, playing a game and it's just 3 hours of just the game sounds, especially if, like, there's not even any character dialogue.
Some people probably get nervous and they hate hearing their own voice.
I mean, I hate hearing my voice too, I just don't listen to it.
It's kind of hard to miss it.
Well, yeah, but I don't have to, hear my own voice when I'm doing it, because I'm not listening to it. And yeah, you told me to actually do stuff.
Yeah, but he would just sit there for hours and hours with no editing whatsoever, just straight up playing the game.
Yeah,
No
that's
talking.
what streaming is. I mean, you kind of have to. If you're doing a video, it's one thing, because you might have a reason why you're not actually talking, or you might be putting in, like, wording after.
Well, he doesn't have a webcam, so he's not like...
That's not even an excuse. Don't bring that up. That's not an excuse. I'm going to assume that he just didn't want to use a webcam for some reason, because not having a webcam is not an excuse. The one that I have right now is probably... My friend gave it to me in high school. This thing is more than 15 years old. And it's still a 1080p camera. USB, it probably cost $20 when it was new. So, not having a camera is not really an excuse. You don't have to have, like, $1,000 camera or anything. And from what most YouTubers have even said, like, hey, you know, if you're trying to start out, the most important thing is good audio, because people are listening to your voice. You don't necessarily need to have a camera. You know, if you do, you want some decent qualities, because people want to actually, like, see things, not just, you know, a frickin' security camera from 7-Eleven where you can't make out anything.
That's over.
But, you know, audio, they're listening to your voice. Have good audio. Good audio goes a long way. If you do have a camera, have a decent camera. That's all. Well, like I said, my buddy gave me this camera because he didn't use it, and he gave it to me for free. And I don't know how old it was when I got it. I knew he had it for a couple years when he gave it to me. It's a Logitech some nonsense 1080p camera, which, when you're only using it for like a face cam in the corner of a video, 1080p is more than good enough. You could probably get away with 720 in design.
If it's a Logitech, then it's probably a decent one.
I mean, it is. Like I said, it's a 1080p camera. I think it's only like a 30 frames per second camera. But that's the other thing. Don't get a camera that has a shitty frame rate. Which, that's not even that hard, because nowadays most cameras are pretty good. You're not getting, like, updated every 3-second cameras. I mean, heck, if you're using a laptop, you could probably get away with a laptop's camera. It's probably good enough, because usually those are built to be able to,
Yeah, I think mine has one.
Usually they're for, like, video calls, so they're usually halfway decent. Especially nowadays. Like, back in the day, not so much, but... Plus, anyone who tries to go with, well, if you have a camera, then anybody can, like, hack into your computer and see it. First of all, people are not hacking into your computer. Second of all, this camera has blue lights on the sides. So if it's on at all, like right now, I have the screen not displaying the camera. I don't actually have the camera off. The camera's still on, which, to be fair, even if I'm not streaming, because the app itself is, like, accessing the camera has the lights on. So anytime this camera is powered on and being used, it has the lights on, so I can tell. Plus, right now, even if it was set to be displaying it, and I had screwed that up, and it was still displaying it for the screen, which I can see it's not, it would be displaying my ceiling because I have it aimed up. When I'm not using it, I have it aimed up. So you can't see anything when I'm not actively trying to show anything. I mean, I guess I could turn it on and just have it show the dog, but I don't know what he's going to do. He wasn't here a second ago. He's moving.
Yay!
Gate?
What gate?
What gate? This gate?
Yay. Okay. Let's watch the animation. Man, it covers a lot of your portions, not mine.
Yeah. Well, it has to put the camera somewhere. Wow.
Buckingham Recreation.
Well, we have other things that we can do, but it depends on what you want to do.
Trains,
Guys,
I guess.
I'm going to end this one here. If we do continue to do another map, I'm going to have that in a separate stream.
Switch to Farm Sim later.
But I'm going to end this one here on the skate park. That way this one is just the skate park. Enjoy your day, everybody. Good night. Or day. Or morning.
Yes, no, maybe some.
Will you hang on?